You walk into the bathroom tomorrow morning. The light flicks on. You lean toward the mirror, and there it is. That softness under your chin, the puffiness around your eyes, the roundness across your cheeks that was not there 10 years ago. You press a fingertip gently into your cheek and the skin takes just a second too long to bounce back. You tell yourself it is age. You tell yourself it is genetics. You tell yourself you will start walking more next week. That is not age. That is not genetics. That is sugar. Not the sugar you think. Not the candy bar. Not the soda. I am talking about the half a pound of sugar the average adult eats every single day without knowing it. And the hidden metabolic switch it is holding in the off position, 68.75 teaspoons a day. That is not an exaggeration, that is data. My name is Dr. Jack Reeve, 15 years of clinical practice. And in the next 18 minutes I am going to walk you through, step by step, exactly what happens inside your body when you cut sugar for 14 days. And why nobody at your next appointment is going to tell you any of this. The system makes money when you stay sick, not when you get better. There is no billing code for teaching somebody how to burn their own body fat. Subscribe to Dr. Jack Reeve right now and hit that like button. It takes 5 seconds. We are working toward 100,000 subscribers, and we are building this channel on one principle. Your body is not broken. It is misinformed. Now stay with me, because what I am about to show you about the 14-day window will change how you look at every meal you eat for the rest of your life. Here is the myth you have been fed your entire adult life. You became diabetic because you ate too much saturated fat. That is a lie. That is completely, clinically, demonstrably false. Diabetes is a disease of too much sugar in your blood. Read that sentence again. Too much sugar in your blood. And yet when you look up what causes it medically, they will tell you 2 things, lifestyle and genetics. And under lifestyle they will list obesity, lack of exercise, and, I am not making this up, urbanization. Moving to the city. They will barely whisper the word sugar. Instead they tell you to eat plenty of whole grains. Whole grains are 85% carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is sugar wearing a long-sleeve shirt. Full stop. The obvious approach, if diabetes is too much sugar in the blood, is to eat less sugar. That is not the advice you will get. Maybe you can help me out. Maybe I am missing something. But it is just so simple. If you have diabetes, you cut the sugar, period. The real cause is not fat on your plate. The real cause is a hidden switch inside your cells that is stuck in the wrong position. Let me show you what it is. There is one concept that unlocks everything in this video, so I am going to go slow. Your body has exactly 2 fuel sources, sugar and fat, that is it. And given the choice, listen carefully, your body will always burn sugar first. Always. Sugar is the preferred fuel for the same reason a match is the preferred way to start a fire. It burns fast, it burns dirty, and it burns out. Now the sugar in your body gets stored in a form called glycogen. Glycogen, which simply means the storage version of glucose, lives mostly in your liver and your muscles. Here is the catch. Every single gram of glycogen drags 3 grams of water with it. So stored sugar is essentially a fluid-filled sponge sitting in your tissues. That is why your face is puffy. That is why your fingers are thick in the morning. That is why your waistband is tight. That is not fat. That is a waterlogged sugar reserve. Next term. Insulin. Insulin is simply the hormone your pancreas releases whenever sugar enters the blood. Its job is to shove that sugar into your cells. But when you eat sugar year after year, your cells start putting up a wall against it. That wall is called insulin resistance. Insulin resistance simply means your cells have stopped answering the door. Your pancreas then pumps out more insulin, screaming louder to be heard, and now you have 2 problems. High sugar and high insulin. Both are toxic. Eventually the pancreas gets tired. It stops compensating. That is the moment prediabetes becomes diabetes. Last term, and this is the big one. The metabolic switch. Your body has a switch, a literal biochemical switch, that decides whether you run on sugar or on fat. Every human being is born with it. It is stuck in the sugar position in most adults because of constant snacking and constant carbohydrates. When you cut sugar for 14 days, that switch flips. And when it flips, your body finally does what it was designed to do. It eats itself, in the good way, starting with the fat on your liver. Before we continue, there are symptoms that should send you to a doctor, not to a video. Know these. Unquenchable thirst combined with rapid, unexplained weight loss. Fruity smelling breath with confusion or nausea. vision that is blurring by the hour, not by the year. If any of those apply, close this tab and get evaluated today. If none of those apply, you can breathe. This video is for you. There are 7 specific changes that happen inside your body in the first 14 days without sugar. Not 7 random benefits you read in a magazine, 7 measurable, repeatable physiological shifts. I am going to walk you through every single one. Number 1. Your face changes shape. The puffiness around your eyes and cheeks drains away as the glycogen water complex in your tissues empties out. You will see a thinner face in the mirror within 10 days. Your midsection will follow because the liver dumps its stored fat first. Number 2. 4 specific organs begin healing. Your eyes, your kidneys, your arteries, your brain. These are the 4 organs that take the heaviest damage from chronic sugar exposure. And they are the first to come back when the sugar stops. Your eyes sharpen. Blurriness fades. The retinal damage we call diabetic retinopathy, destruction of the main nerve at the back of the eye, slows, and in early stages reverses. Your kidneys recover. The inflammation we call diabetic nephropathy, nephro simply meaning the tiny filtering units inside the kidney, calms down. Sugar and protein in the urine decrease. Your arteries stop rusting. Diabetic vascular disease is exactly what it sounds like. Sugar corroding the inside of your blood vessels, like rust corrodes iron pipes. When the sugar stops, the rusting stops. Cholesterol values improve dramatically because sugar not only converts to fat, it converts to cholesterol. And your nerves, including the billions of nerves in your brain, begin to repair. The burning in the feet we call peripheral neuropathy eases, memory sharpens, focus sharpens, concentration returns, and your mood, this is the one people do not expect, your mood lifts. You are going to be much happier. Number 3. You stop getting up at night. Water follows sugar. I had patients in clinical practice getting up 10 times a night to urinate. We cut the sugar and they slept through the entire night. It takes a few weeks, but it is among the most life-changing parts of this whole protocol. Number 4. Your energy becomes steady. No more crashes. No more 3 p.m. fog. You are now running on a different fuel tank entirely, and that tank is enormous. Number 5. Cravings die. Not reduced. Die. In roughly 72 hours. Number 6. Inflammation, blood pressure, and joint stiffness drop. The artery walls, which have been getting thicker from years of inflammation, start to slim back down. Blood flow improves. The need for anti-inflammatory and blood pressure medication often decreases. Number 7. You lose actual fat, not just water. Actual stored fat, the kind that has been sitting on your liver and around your waistline for a decade. And your skin changes with it. Acne clears, red inflammatory rashes, the dermatitis flares, calm down. Because we are dropping inflammation everywhere, including on the outside of your body. Now let me show you what all of this looks like in a real person. I want to tell you about Anatoly, 54 years old, solid, self-sufficient man. Worked construction for 30 years. Not a complainer, not the type to sit in a waiting room unless something was wrong. He walked into my office because his wife made him, his complaints in order. He was getting up 4 times a night to urinate. His face, he told me, had become round like a boy's. His blood pressure was 158/96. His fasting glucose was 124. Technically pre-diabetic. His cholesterol panel looked like a disaster, and he was carrying about 35 extra pounds, most of it across the middle. Liver fat on the ultrasound. He had already tried everything his regular doctor told him. Low-fat yogurt for breakfast, whole wheat bread, oatmeal every morning. Because oatmeal is heart healthy. He walked 30 minutes a day. He had cut out butter. He had switched to skim milk. He was doing everything right. And every lab value was climbing every single year. I asked him the one question that nobody had asked him. Anatoly, how many grams of carbohydrate do you eat in a day? He had no idea. We sat down and we counted. 310 grams, most of it hiding in food he thought was healthy. The bread, the pasta, the cereal, the orange juice, the yogurt with fruit on the bottom, the occasional beer, all of it turning into sugar in his bloodstream within 30 minutes of swallowing. I told him one thing: cut carbohydrates to under 50 grams a day for 14 days. That was it. No exercise change, no calorie counting, just flip the switch. Day 3, he called me. He thought he had the flu. Headache, low energy, irritability. I told him that was the withdrawal. Hold the line. Day 4, it lifted. By day 7, his wedding ring was loose on his finger. That is the glycogen water draining out. By day 10, he slept through the entire night for the first time in 6 years. By day 14, he had lost 13 pounds. Most of that is water, stored glycogen releasing its 3-to-1 water load. But it is real, and it is visible. 6 weeks later, his fasting glucose was 94. His blood pressure was 128/78. His face, I have the before and after photos, was no longer a boy's face. He looked like himself again. He came off 2 medications under his own doctor's supervision. 1 question, 14 days. That is what it took. Anatoly is not special. Anatoly is what the human body does when you stop blocking it. Let me make this impossible to forget. Imagine 2 batteries sitting on your counter. One is a tiny AAA battery. The other is a massive car battery. The AAA battery holds about 1,500 calories worth of charge, and that is exactly how much stored sugar an average adult carries. The car battery holds about 100,000 calories, and that is exactly how much stored fat even a thin person carries. 100,000 versus 1,700. Now here is the question nobody asks you. If you have a car battery sitting right there, why are you running your entire life off a AAA? Because the switch is in the wrong position. That is why. Every time you eat sugar, you plug into the AAA. You drain it in 90 minutes. You get hungry. You plug in again, you crash, you plug in again. You are running the most powerful engine in nature, the human body, off the smallest battery in your drawer. Constant hunger, constant cravings, constant ups and downs. Cut sugar for 14 days and the plug moves. That is not a metaphor, that is biochemistry. The enzymes that break down fat, the ones that were sitting idle for the last 20 years of your life, switch on. And now you are running on the car battery. Steady current. No crashes, no cravings. No 3 p.m. collapse. Between meals, your body is quietly eating its own fat. You are being fed from inside. That is why the hunger vanishes. Do this right now. I want you to take any ring you wear daily or any watch you wear daily and notice how it fits right now. Today, not tomorrow, right now. Take a mental photograph. Is it tight? Does it leave a groove in the skin? Does the skin puff up around it? That groove, that puff, that tightness? That is not fat. That is stored sugar dragging water into your soft tissues. I call this the glycogen water test, and it is the most honest scale you own. Then do this. 14 days from now, after you have cut carbohydrates to under 50 grams a day, put that same ring on again. I guarantee you it will spin on your finger. That is not a trick. That is the switch. Here are the foods that are holding your switch in the off position. Write them down somewhere, you will see it. Bread. Every variety. White, whole wheat, sourdough, ancient grain, gluten-free. Bread is sugar in a loaf shape. Pasta, same thing in a noodle shape. Cereal, even the ones with the word fiber on the box. Crackers, biscuits, waffles, pancakes, muffins. Fruit juice, including the 100% pure kind. An orange juice is 3 oranges with the fiber ripped out. Soda, which is self-explanatory. Beer and wine, which are liquid carbohydrate with a hangover. Honey, maple syrup, agave. Sugar is sugar. Almost every flavored yogurt on the shelf. And yes, most fruit, during this 14-day window, the hidden sugar counts. Added sugar alone. The average adult in the US eats 13.5 teaspoons a day. 54 grams. But the hidden sugar from all those carbohydrates I just listed brings the real number to about 275 grams of actual sugar per day. That is a half pound of sugar. Every single day. 68.75 teaspoons. Added sugar is the tip of the iceberg. The carbohydrates underneath it are the iceberg. Now the allies. The foods that flip the switch on. Eggs. Whole eggs. Yolks included. Fatty fish, herring, mackerel, sardines, wild salmon. Grass-fed red meat. Avocado. Olive oil. Real olive oil, the kind in a dark bottle. Nuts, particularly walnuts and macadamia. Leafy greens. Spinach, arugula, kale, cabbage. Fermented vegetables like sauerkraut and kimchi. Hard-aged cheeses if you tolerate dairy. Bone broth. And water with a pinch of sea salt. Why the salt? Because as the glycogen water drains out, minerals drain with it. When you flip the switch, the absorption of potassium, magnesium, vitamin B1, calcium, and even vitamin D all go up because the insulin resistance that was blocking them has finally come down. That is how you end up with more muscle, better skin, firmer legs, less of what looks like cellulite. You are finally absorbing the nutrients you were already eating. None of this food is exotic. None of it costs $40 at a specialty store. This is food your great-grandmother would recognize. Here is the protocol. I call it the 14-day metabolic switch. 3 phases, no exceptions. Days 1 to 3. The withdrawal. You will feel terrible. Headache, brain fog, irritability, fatigue. This is not a sign it is not working. This is the only sign it is working. Your body is screaming for the sugar it used to get on demand. You drink water with a pinch of sea salt, you eat eggs and avocado, and you hold the line for 72 hours. Anyone can do 72 hours. The cravings break on the morning of day 3 or day 4. That is the rule, not the exception. Days 4 to 7. The flip. The switch flips here. You will wake up on day 4 or day 5 and notice that the brain fog is gone. The cravings are gone. Your energy is steady. You are no longer hungry between meals because your body is now eating its own fat between meals. Under 50 grams of carbohydrate per day. That is your only rule. Count every gram for the first 7 days. After that, it becomes automatic. Days 8 to 14. The burn. This is when the visible changes start. The face thins, the ring loosens, the waistband relaxes, the sleep deepens, the mood lifts. You are now, possibly for the first time in your adult life, running on fat. Stay in this phase. Do not reward yourself with a cheat day. A cheat day flips the switch back to the sugar position and you start over at day 1, 15 minutes. That is how long it takes to plan each day of this protocol. 14 days. That is the whole commitment. How old are you? Write it in the comments. I want to see which age group makes up the majority of our viewers because it will directly shape what I cover in future videos. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Tell me right now. The comment section of this video is going to be the most useful tool you have because you will see thousands of other people your age going through exactly the same 14 days. Here is your takeaway. A concrete 7-step plan for tonight. 1. Go to your kitchen and open the cabinet. Throw out everything with added sugar on the label. Every single thing. Do not save it for guests. Guests deserve better than to poison themselves at your house. 2. Buy eggs, avocado, olive oil, leafy greens, and fatty fish tomorrow. That is your grocery list for the next 14 days. That is it. 3. Cap your carbohydrate intake at 50 grams per day. Count every gram for the first 7 days. 4. Drink water with a pinch of sea salt every morning. This prevents the day 3 headache. It is the single smallest effort with the single biggest payoff. 5. Do not snack between meals. The whole point is to let your body eat its own fat between meals. Snacking flips the switch off. 6. Weigh yourself on day 1 and day 14, not in between. The water weight fluctuation in the middle will drive you crazy. 7. Mark your calendar, 14 days from today. That is your check-in date. That is the date your face changes. Let me be direct with you. In 15 years of clinical practice, I have watched patient after patient get handed a prescription when what they needed was a grocery list. Your doctor is not going to walk you through what I just walked you through. Not because they are bad people, because they have 12 minutes with you. Because there is no billing code for taught patient to burn their own body fat. Because the system makes money when you stay sick, not when you get better. I profit from you not needing me anymore. That is the opposite of how the rest of medicine works. Your body is not broken. Your body is waiting. The switch is right there underneath 20 years of bread and pasta and heart-healthy cereal. 14 days is all it takes to flip it. If this video helped you, subscribe to Dr. Jack Reeve and hit that like button. We are working toward 100,000 subscribers on one principle. Your body is not broken, it is misinformed. Share this with someone you love who is getting up 4 times a night, or whose face has become round, or who has been told it is just age. It is not age, it is sugar. I will see you in the next video.